Welcome to Variety, the children's charity telethon spotlight. 50 years of miracles. I am Lou Seipold.
I am Sherry McMichael. I am the executive director for Variety, the children's charity.
I cannot believe the telethon has been going on for 50 years, Sherry.
I cannot believe that either. It's just been an amazing 50 years, and those 50 years we've raised over $134 million.
Oh my goodness.
And impacting the lives of children throughout the state. And we do that in a variety of different ways by providing grants and doing inclusive playgrounds and mobility equipment. We're going to hear about some of that tonight.
Yeah. We're going to take you through the history of the telethon, the 50-year history of the telethon, and we were fortunate enough to sit down with two of the surviving forefathers of Variety, the children's charity telethon, Mike Riley and Ray Johnson. And we soon learned shortly after this interview, this would be Mike Riley's final interview. So let's find out how Variety, the children's charity telethon started in their own words. 50 years of miracles had to start with chapter 1. And that's what we're going to do right now. We have a couple of the founding fathers of Variety, the children's charity telethon. We have Mike Riley, Ray Johnson here. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
It's a
Absolutely. Pleasure.
So we need to find out the story of how the telethon came to be in its 50th year this year.
Well, where do we start? There were four of us that were in on this original scheme. And Stan and Jody had lost a daughter who had spent quite a bit of time in the neonatology section of Blank Children's Hospital, and knew what the real needs were of that hospital and wanted to find a way to improve that form of medical care here in the state of Iowa. He and Steve and Ray went out to San Francisco to a Variety Club convention. And at that convention, they learned about telethons that were being done in Buffalo and Philadelphia, other Variety Club tents. And they came back with the thought that maybe we could do that here in the state of Iowa. And with that, Ray jumped on board.
Well, you say that Stan was the driving force. There's no question about that. In fact, I would like to relate the time that Stan called me. We were both members of the old Variety Club. Mm-hmm. And I was at Channel 13 at the time, and the Variety Club in those days was made up of theater people. And anyway, Stan called me and he said, "Ray, we need some help. Our charter's in trouble and we got to raise a lot of money." And I said, "Well, just tell me how many tickets you want me to sell." And he said, No. We're not talking tickets. We're talking big time money here. And because you're in television and you're in the club, we're going to go out to San Francisco. And that's when we did that and went to seminars and learned a lot about how to do a telethon. And then we came back to Des Moines and we approached Bob Mulhall up at Channel 5. And the story goes, as you said earlier, he asked us if we knew anything about telethons, and we said no. But we are enthusiastic and we know we have to do it, so we need your blessing. And he gave us his blessing. And he said, "I'll let you do one telethon. And if I like what I see, we'll talk about maybe more." And so, long story short, that first telethon was in 1975 out at the Palace Theater at Adventureland. And along about the end of the telethon, Bob Mulhall came on the set. And he was very emotional, and he took us together and he said, "Gentlemen, you've got my airwaves as long as you want them."
An amazing story, an amazing journey, and it began with your help.
Right.
And the founding four and several other key players on that. But things have changed a little bit. We don't have the big phone banks. What you do have right now, you see the QR code on the screen right now. Scan that QR code and make a donation and help our tote board start climbing north. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Mike Riley, Ray Johnson, thank you for 50 years of miracles.
On behalf of all of us at Every Step, we thank Variety for providing the vital funding necessary to allow us to serve children in our community.
And thanks to you, thousands of children have experienced hope and healing through Amanda the Panda's grief support groups and Holiday Cheerbox program.
Your support funded vital baby supplies like car seats and diapers to more than 1,400 families in need. Thank you for being with us at Every Step.
We are talking about 50 years of miracles with Variety, the children's charity, and we're talking about the special relationship they have with Blank Children's Hospital. David Stark is here from Blank Children's Hospital. This goes back to the beginning, doesn't it?
The beginning. Variety and Blank are synonymous. We're one and the same the last 50 years. We are so thankful for that relationship and the partnership we've had for 5 decades.
Wow. Now, when it first started, could you give us a little idea of how important that first gift was to Blank Children's Hospital?
Well, if you wind the clock back, nobody would have thought this would have gone 50 years. But that first gift, right here where we're standing in the neonatal intensive care unit, the Variety neonatal intensive care unit, were for rocking chairs to help the families that were here with the young babies way back when. And we still have got those rocking chairs in the rooms today. Now, they've been replaced.
I would hope so, yeah.
Replaced, but we still have those today. That gift was so meaningful because it was not just about the child. It was about the family. And Variety has always had that. The child is at the center, but they care about the entire care episode, the family, the child, and the community.
Yeah, and it's gone up from rocking chairs, and now some of the greatest equipment that's available is here at Blank Children's Hospital.
Some of our most specialized equipment, we're now treating children here at 22 weeks when they're born,
wow,
which is unbelievable. We never would have thought that was the case even 5 years ago, and Variety was a huge part of that.
Now talk about the continued support of Variety and Blank Children's Hospital and what that means to this hospital.
Well, I'll put it in very specific terms. In the last 50 years, Variety has given over $12.5 million to Blank Children's Hospital. It might be in the neonatal intensive care unit, the OB center, our STAR developmental center, outpatient, our clinics, our emergency department, our physical therapy areas. There is literally not a place at Blank Children's Hospital that Variety has not touched in 5 decades.
Yeah, the amount of success that Blank Children's Hospital has had with the children is second to none in the world, and you guys are world renowned.
Yeah, and I would tell you the Variety Neonatal Intensive Care Unit was literally the first NICU in the world to go to all private rooms over 20 years ago, and that was due to Variety's support.
When it first started, when the first gift was received by Blank, how many children was that able to care for?
Well, in the neonatal intensive care unit then, I would guess we were in the 20s, maybe.
Okay.
And we think about all the other patients that we serve at Blank. We're going to serve over 4,000 kids this year just inside the hospital, and another 40,000 from an outpatient standpoint. In our emergency department, our physical therapy, our clinics, unbelievable the amount of kids that Variety has touched here. In fact, not one county in the state of Iowa doesn't have a child that's not been treated by Blank Children's Hospital every single year.
So we're talking about the special relationship that Variety, the children's charity, has here at Blank Children's Hospital, 50 years strong. So we've gotten a hold of somebody who was here 50 years ago when this all started. Linda Carter, the Wonder Woman herself, is here to talk about that. And then someone who is not only a person who has been at the NICU, but now works at the NICU. We have Ella Gustafson joining us as well. Linda, 50 years.
I know, straight out of high school. No, straight out of nurses training.
Really?
I went to Methodist School of Nursing and discovered the NICU when I was in my pediatric rotation, and that was it. That's where I wanted to be.
Why did you gravitate toward the NICU?
I always wanted to be in pediatrics. I mean, when I was little, I wanted to take care of babies, but I didn't know anything about an NICU until I got in school, went through Blank, and found the unit. And it was a very, very small unit back then. I mean, I think my first 3 to 11 shift that I worked, we had 6 babies.
Wow.
And there was 2 of us working. And so, yeah, it just kept growing and growing. So I've seen every NICU. I've seen the original one, and then I saw the orange unit is what we call it. And then when we had to move out of the orange unit when they were building the new remodeled Blank Hospital, we were in separate areas because by that time we were too big, so we were in 2 separate areas. We had like a step-down unit in the major NICU, and then we moved in here. And we were all kind of really freaked out about having babies in rooms with doors, because it was like we were used to being able to sit here and scan the room and we could see what every baby was doing because they were all in one big room together.
Wow.
And so then we put them all in separate rooms, but you know, we all got used to it. Parents loved it because parents could stay. Parents could come and be with their family all the time, where in the old unit they couldn't.
Wow, this was a game changer for families,
Oh,
wasn't it?
absolutely, yes.
Now, when you first started, the ages of the children that would come into the NICU, what were they like?
We were lucky. We considered ourselves lucky if we saved 34-weekers. You know, once in a while there would be one that would be like maybe 24, 25 weeks, but would have a lot of long-lasting things. We didn't know as much back then. We didn't have the equipment back then. We had babies that, when I first started, we only had 5 monitors. Wow. And so the sickest babies got the monitors. And the rest of them, you know, like I said, we could scan the room and see everybody, but not everybody had a monitor because we didn't have them.
Wow. And one of those babies, Ella, was you and your brother. Talk about that.
Yes, so my twin brother and I were born at 26 weeks here. And then I have a younger set of twin brothers that were born at 30 weeks here. We were in the NICU from January to April. Linda was one of the babies that took care of me, as long as other primary nurses. And my parents just always talked so highly of Blank Children, so that's why I knew about the NICU.
So what's this like, sitting next to the nurse that was caring for you back before you even knew anything about this?
Very surreal. Yeah, it feels a little bit like family almost, even though we haven't met since I was a baby.
Exactly.
But I mean,
Really?
hearing the stories and everything, it's
Now, coming home from your first visit to the Blank Children's Hospital, the NICU, that's a big deal, isn't it?
It's a very big deal. Growing up, my family celebrated this thing called a coming home day. So it was the day that we came home from the hospital. So it's like it was almost like a second birthday growing up, because it was.
Which day is that?
April 16th.
April 16th. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, so that's a very special day in your heart, then, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And apparently, it made enough impact that you wanted to go on and become a nurse as well.
Yeah.
And now, where are you a nurse?
In the NICU here.
Here.
Right here.
Yeah.
How cool is that to come around full circle like that?
It is so cool. In fact, the first time I came here, the person that orientated me was my primary nurse. And that was just,
Really?
yeah, that was just by happenstance. Nobody planned it. It was just the way it was.
Wow.
It was meant to
So,
be.
yeah, it was meant to be.
I think you're exactly right, Linda. It was meant to be.
My NICU question, did you and your brother come home the same day?
Yeah, we did. Exact
Which-
same day.
That's unusual too.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often.
Really? So it really was a special day.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it like now working, here in the NICU, knowing that this is where you started? Seriously.
Yeah, it is very, very impactful. I love to tell families all the time that it does get better. Just like coming from where we are to where we are now, it kind of gives parents some hope of all the development that goes on and how great everybody is here. So,
Yeah, you're proof.
yeah, proof, yeah.
That is great. Linda, you were kind enough to bring some of the things in front of us here. We're seeing some old pictures from the telethons, and Monty Hall being the first host of the telethon so many years ago. So he made a deal with making sure Blank Children's Hospital would be a success.
Yeah.
And apparently it's paying off.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
What would you like to say to Variety and the people that are watching right now that are thinking about making a donation to Variety?
Well, there's no way that the NICU here at Blank could have gotten to the point of where it is now without Variety's help. Because after that first telethon, we didn't really understand what was going on, but then I was involved with going to the telethon for years after that and got to know so many of the people, and it was like another family. And all the equipment that we could identify as saying that the Variety Club helped bring that in to take care of babies, it made all the difference in the world for babies and families, and for us, because we had the tools to work with.
And that's important.
It's very important, yeah.
Yeah, so folks, if you're thinking about giving right now, you see the QR code on your screen. Zap that QR code, varietyiowa.com, and give to Variety, the children's charity, and see if we can have some more full circle moments come around.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
50 years of miracles all began because of a couple of very special people, Stanley J. and Jody Reynolds. And we have 3 of their children joining us right now, Stan W., Brooks, and Suzanne, just to tell the story of how this all began. Stan, your mom and dad created the telethon and the push. What was that like growing up?
I mean, it was my real, especially Suzanne and I, it was even before Brooks was born, it was our formative years. We didn't know any different. I mean, Variety was part of our lives from the get-go. The first telethon, I was 5, Suzanne was 3. First memories. I mean, we didn't have any other memories before that. It was Variety from then until now.
Suzanne, 3 years old when you got involved with it.
Right.
What was it like being in front of all those people and doing such good?
Well, I honestly remember it because I was so little, and my parents, of course, dragged us up on stage, which Stan W. loved, I did not. And just being in front of the camera and all that came with it, and not really understanding what was happening, but knowing that it was something big. And I think throughout our lives, we figured out really what it meant, not only to our family, but to the state of Iowa.
So, Brooks, you were born into the telethon, already being part of your family. Now, all the kids got involved with the telethon with your mom and dad, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was, I'm the 4th of 5, so I mean, I was born in '76, so the first telethon I was a month or 2 old, and I was there as a baby, and growing up, and we'd head out to Adventureland for the weekend. We'd get there on Friday midday, and we'd stay there till Monday, and just the amount of again, great people that would come and help that event. Whether it was the phone panels or the local musicians or the acts or the Altoona Kitchen Band.
Right.
And, it was a village, an international village of people that came from all over to help, the kids of Iowa. There's so many things that Variety has touched, whether it's mobility issues, the NICU, the Boys and Girls Club of Central Iowa. Yes, Blank has been one of the major recipients of Variety of the Children's Charity, but it's not just Blank. I mean, I think they've raised over $134 million to date, and that money is raised here and it stays here. It doesn't go outside of the state of Iowa, and that's a great accomplishment. And we're doing it for 50 years. I mean, that's a great testament of the what Variety has done and what they're still going to do.
What's your favorite memory of Variety over all these years?
I'm going to say the most significant telethon. I think I was 13 or 14. It was when they hit $1 million. And Mike Anderson was president, and the tote board at that time was done by United Airlines flight attendants. Okay. And it was done on Velcro circles, and they would do the totes about every 15, 20 minutes, but it only had 6 figures on there. And Stanley was a showman, and he always kept the number where they thought they would be in his head, and he never told anybody until literally the last 5 minutes of the show, which drove us crazy, but that's how he worked, and kept everybody like, where are we gonna be, where are we gonna be? And we got over that million, and Mike Anderson pulls out a can of paint and dips in the paint and writes a 1 in front of the 6 figures. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, because I think it was the 9th or the 10th telethon. It was a very special moment, and we never looked back. We're now talking about Jody. And Jody was the rock behind everything. I mean, she managed our family but she managed all the Variety kids for years. It was what they called it, the Heart Room and the Reunion. But success bred success on all levels. Stanley J., Mike Riley, Ray Johnson, Steve Blank, they had their success business-wise, and that spread out to their friends. But back in the day, there was a women's Variety and regular Variety, and Jody became the first woman president of Variety ever in the combined forces. But her success was befriending Ron Pearson's wife. And Ron Pearson's wife's like, hey, Ron, why don't we get Hy-Vee involved? I mean, that wasn't Stanley J., Ray J., that was my mother. And it was very special.
And what are your thoughts that this all began because of your sister?
Right. Our sister Bridget was born with severe complications. She died at a very young age. After she passed away, our parents donated some rocking chairs to Blank. And they decided at that point they really wanted to make her life mean something. And so that's what was their drive behind getting things moving with Variety. And it's been an incredible journey, not only for our parents, but from all of us. We just made a significant donation to Blank in their name, which we're very proud of, and we really feel that this brought it full circle for our family.
Hi, I'm Sarah from St. Anthony Regional Hospital in Carroll, Iowa. This is the GE Panda Warmer that was awarded to our emergency department through the generosity of Variety, the children's charity. The Panda Warmer will provide immediate emergency access for vulnerable infants who present at our doors. Thank you, Variety, the children's charity.
One of the more interesting projects that Variety, the children's charity, is involved with involves this book. It is called Joni's Wish, and we have the author of the book, John Phillips, joining us right now so we can learn all about this and why Joni's Wish is so important. What is this book all about?
Yeah, so Joni's Wish is a story about a girl named Joni who is on her way to get a Variety bike, and on the way she asks her dad if her neighbor Carl can also get a bike, and her dad unfortunately has to say, Carl's living in a wheelchair and can't ride a bike.
So this is a regular bike that Variety was given, Joni. Okay.
Yep. And so Stanley J. Hart, the Variety Map.
Stanley J. That is really a great name on here, and we all know Stanley J. connection here. And Stanley J. Hart here, we'll show you a picture of Stanley J. Hart. He is really a cool dude in this, in honor of Stanley J. Reynolds.
Yep, and he hears the wish and grants Carl a hand-pedaling specialized bike, and Joni and Carl go on their first adventure together, and you're going to see throughout the book some Variety sprinkles in there of the Variety vans, the inclusive playgrounds, and Telethon.
Why was this so important for you to write this book? Because you go through the book, and if you know anything about Variety, it rings so many bells true.
Yeah, I think I was trying to think of a way. I'm on the board of directors currently, and I was trying to think of a way to continue pushing the mission in a different way. And I thought one of the best ways to do that was through a children's book.
Wow. Now with children with special needs, they can read this book and be inspired by this book. Have you seen that happen?
Yeah, we've I've had people reach out to me with friends of parents that have children living with special needs to get the bike. I think it kind of alludes to the fact that I want representation. I think it matters. And I know that Variety, when they give away specialized bikes, they actually give one of these books to the families too.
That is so great. Now, why is the mobility program from Variety, the children's charity, such an important aspect of the organization?
To me, I think it really resonates. What it resonates with me is freedom, right? When you think about getting on a bike, the wind in your face, you feel free. And maybe not all children, living maybe with special needs don't always feel that way. And it kind of resonated with me when I first saw the first specialized bike giveaway, and you see, a child get on that bike, whether they're pedaling themselves or their parents are pushing them from behind, the pure joy on their face, it's very heartwarming, and it really got me hooked.
So the idea is Variety purchases these books, and then they give them to every child that receives one of their bikes.
Yep.
it's a great message. And what a great story, and a story that you will want to get a copy of Joni's Wish and get this in your home because it makes such a difference. And this talks about being inclusive, and that really is the bottom line message, isn't it?
Yep. Every child deserves a chance, right? And representation matters. I want children that, even if they aren't living with special needs, they see, something like this and think there's some normalcy.
Right. It's all one big world. We are all living in it together.
Yep.
So we can all share the joy together. And we're going to find out about that joy as we're going to visit with someone who actually has just received a bike from Variety, the children's charity. So we know the book is called Joni's Wish, but really it could be called Moby's Wish. Brad Opp is joining us. Moby is your son who received one of these specialized bikes. How close to the story in Joni's Wish was Moby's story?
It was very close. Moby was at home, so he's got a lot of brothers and sisters.
How many?
Well, he's the youngest boy. He's the second youngest of 7.
Wow. Okay.
So a bunch of older brothers and sisters and one younger sister. And they all have bikes and they all go ride their bikes. And we used to push him in a stroller, and then as he got older, we had to get a big wagon to push him in. And it was just kind of frustrating for him. He wanted to run with the rest of the kids. And when he got this bike, man, is he proud of it. And now he's driving it on the same walks we used to go on with the bikes, and I can barely keep up. And he is running out in front with his bike and saying, catch me, come and get me. And then, he'll stop and let me get close. And then he takes off again as soon as I get within arm's reach. And he's getting really good at it.
He's cruising around behind us, yeah?
He is, we go on a 3-mile bike ride sometimes with him, and he just doesn't want to get off it, and he's so proud of it, and it's just been great for him.
How does this change the dynamic of the family?
Well, he's more included in, these outside things. He wants to have a drive-through where he can drive through on his bike and order French fries from a drive-through window, and he wants an inflatable bouncy house car wash so he can drive his bike through it.
Oh, that's the reason why. Yeah, we heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, he is so creative, and he wants everybody to be included, and he just enjoys that bike. And it's good for him too. He's so much more active, and he's got all this energy, and this is a great outlet.
So the inclusive aspect of everything, that is really important to everybody.
Yeah, and he really thinks about everybody else. He wants to go through, and he'll go through the pretend drive-through and include everybody's real drive-through order from wherever place we're going.
Wow.
And he remembers it all, and he just really wants to include everybody.
How about using his specialized bike at school?
Oh, his school, Centennial Elementary, has been great. We're here at the school today, and when the weather gets bad, we bring that bike into school, and then he uses it during adaptive PE.
Wow.
And for rewards or recess time, and he can drive around the school, and it's just great. And he waves up and down the neighborhood and to the classrooms, when he passes by folks, just to say hi, and he's so proud when he does that. It's just been a great, wonderful blessing. We're just so thankful.
Okay. We're going to have to talk to Moby. Can we talk to Moby?
Yeah, sure.
All right. We'll give him a high five. Hi, Moby. I want to talk about your bike. Do you like your bike?
Yeah.
Why do you like your bike so much?
Because I like my bike a lot at home. We ride and walk on the sidewalk. He's not
We are with Reynolds Kramer, the CEO of Fairway Meat and Grocery, talking about your long-standing relationship with Variety, the children's charity. Why is this organization so special to Fairway Meat and Grocery?
Well, first off, Lou, 50 years, right?
Yeah.
How exciting is that? 50 years, we've been doing telethons, we've been raising money. It's been amazing, and Fairway's been along for the entire ride.
Yeah.
And what's so amazing about it is the kids and the families that we've been helping over the years.
Right. Now, what kind of money are we talking here? Because you're what we consider a major player when it comes to fundraising for Variety.
Well, I feel like we're a major player because we've gotten involved with so many amazing people over the years, right? So in the last 50 years, I think we've raised millions of dollars coming from just Fairway alone, but think of all the total millions from everyone and what that's accomplished to help kids.
Yeah, and you personally have gotten involved with Variety too. We recently visited with Moby, who you purchased a bike for. Very cool young man. And why is that so special to you?
Well, when I think about what Variety means to me personally, I think about the moments like Moby as an example. when a child gets a specialized bicycle, the joy on their face, and then you look back and the joy on the parents and the grandparents and the friends and the siblings, it's not just about that child. It's about an entire family and what it does to just make their life so much better.
Do you know what the best part I just liked on this one, folks? Did you notice the same thing I did? He talked about the joy in everybody's face. The joy on your face was remarkable.
Well, why are we doing this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lou, why are we raising all this money to help kids? It's because it is joyful, right? And it's a blessing that we get to be a part of it.
Wow. Now, what does Fairway continue to do to help Variety? What are you doing to help raise funds?
Well, let me back up a little bit, because years ago, there was Cash for Kids, you know, so Bob Kramer, Fred Greiner, Bill Beckwith,
Right.
they're all part of Cash for Kids, along with Hy-Vee and so many other great people and great organizations. But now, as things have moved along, we had to, you know, get into the 2024s, right, and say, what are we going to do to increase funding, and what are we going to do to raise dollars? And so we've done roundups, we've done auctions, we've done a zoo night for our employees, and they can donate monies and win great prizes. We've done a lot of things, and so we used to raise maybe, you know, $40,000, $50,000 in a year. Now we're raising almost $200,000, more than $200,000 in a year. And our customers are helping out too, because when we do that roundup at the store and people come up and they say, yeah, I'll round up to the next dollar or whatever they choose, because they know it's going to help children and kids and families.
I like the fact that your employees get involved too, in a big way, don't they?
For sure. And it's fun to do it.
That is amazing. So the most amazing thing of all is the big check that you give from Fairway Meat and Grocery every year to Variety to make sure that their programs continue in that way. And you know, I saw the joy in your face when you talked about the bike that you you had the honor of giving to an individual. What about these big checks? What does that make you feel like?
Well, it's kind of like a conclusion, right? Just a big bang of the whole year and everything we've done and everything we've worked so hard to raise. And so when we give a check, I mean, it's awesome. But we also know that the check's going to get cashed, right?
Yeah.
And then we got to start over again. And that's what Variety's been doing all these years.
And you look excited to start over again too.
You want to, because you want to raise even more next year.
That is awesome. Okay, we ready for the big reveal?
Let's do it.
All right, let's find out how much Fairway Meat and Grocery is going to provide Variety, the children's charity, in 2024. This is the 50th anniversary of Variety. Let's take a look. All right, we are ready for the big reveal to find out how much Fairway Meat and Grocery is going to contribute to Variety, the children's charity. Brett Wiltsey, the executive vice president, here with us today. I'm pretty excited, are you?
Oh, I'm super excited to see what this check's going to be.
All right, now, let's remind everybody one more time how this check came to be. Where is it from?
So our amazing customers rounded up at the cash register supporting all that Variety does. Our dedicated employees came forward, and our employee-only auction for hundreds of items that we auctioned off, and then we supported many of the events throughout the year.
Yeah, what does this mean to you to be able to give a check of this amount to Variety?
Knowing that it's going to just change the lives of children and families throughout the whole area is just amazing. It's just incredible. It's just heartwarming.
Okay. You know what else is heartwarming? To find out the size of this check. Are you ready? You ready, Brett?
I'm ready.
All right, Craig, bring the check on in. The big old check. Take a look at this. The amount.
$300,000.
$300,000, $250,000, darn near. That is very impressive.
Oh, it's so awesome. Just everything that came together to get this, and then to know what the great work that's going to happen with this money is even more amazing.
On behalf of everyone at Variety, the children's charity, thank you, Fairway Meat and Grocery, for $300,000 donation and help make 50 years of miracles come true.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you, Variety, for supporting Dental Connections. Your donation allowed us to purchase a new mobile dental unit for our Smile Squad program. This program goes to 58 schools in 8 central Iowa school districts. Over 1,000 kids each year who have untreated dental problems will receive much-needed dental care right at their schools. Healthy smiles allow kids to eat, grow, and learn. Here's to 50 more years of miracles, Variety. Thank you.
50 years of miracles with Variety, the children's charity. When you talk about things that started the telethon here on WOI, a couple of names keep popping up. And those names happen to be Don and Margot Blumenthal. We want to find out what got you first involved with Variety, the children's charity.
Want me to start?
Sure.
Well, Variety got started because Stan Reynolds and myself had a very close friend, and it was Steve Blank. And Myron owned about 125 theaters and drive-ins at that time, and he's always in LA with the stars. Myron said to Stan, he said, if you can start Variety Club in Des Moines, Iowa, I'll give you my business. Well, Stan was working for his brother-in-law, and he wanted to, this was a big time for him. So he and Steve went out, and they really started working hard so Stan could get the business. Eventually, he did, and I gave him my business. I had one truck, and this is why Stan became very involved into Variety Club. And then he got all the other four guys, and we happened to be on the very first panel. What did we do there?
Oh, the first year, 1974, well, it was Steve Blank who we're talking about, and his father was Myron Blank, who owned all the theaters. He owned quite a few theaters around the country. And so Steve was involved in this project, Steve Blank, Myron, Ray Johnson, and Mike Riley. And so they convinced a group of their friends that this was a charity that was not in Iowa and it needed to be here. And so they introduced us to the concept of what Variety did for children and how it helped all the children's charities, that there weren't that many at that time. And so anyhow, so they introduced us to this concept, and we immediately said yes, that we would participate financially, in every way, and physically be involved in Variety Club. So that was 1974, and we have continued our involvement to this day, 50 years later.
Don, what's so special to you about still being involved after 50 years?
Well, we're involved in a lot of charities, and many, many years ago, not quite as long as Variety Club, but shortly, we got involved into YESS, which was for runaway children. And I go to Variety Club and I say, I need help. And sure enough, they're there. We've had a few additions. We had child service. We're always asking Variety Club for money. And they're always willing, because it's helping our community, helping children, even young adults, to get a life like what we all have, and we're so fortunate.
Yeah, and Variety and all the children are very grateful for Don and Margot Blumenthal. We are with Rosalie Gallagher, the superstar fundraiser for Variety, the children's charity, to find out what makes her tick. Rosalie, what first brought you into Variety?
What first brought me into Variety were my good friends Donnie and Margot Blumenthal. They asked me to do the cast party in my home, and I said I'd love to. I knew many Variety people, but was involved in other children's activities and other groups. And what I was so impressed that night, I suppose there were 120, 50 people, was the passion that everyone had. We had people like Monty Hall from LA and Tony Hatch from London, people from all over the world, and the cast from Nashville and all over the United States. And I was taken by the passion that the people in my home had. And especially what was so wonderful was the men and the passion they had. I'd been involved in a lot of women's groups, and I was just blown away by not only their passion, but their love for children.
So what did you do then? What did you...
Well, I then, Margot and Jody Reynolds had a women's panel, and in '97, the year after I was involved in the cast party, Jody said, wouldn't you like to take our panel over for a few years? So that was 97, and I still have this women's panel, except we now have one man.
Really?
And that's Susie McBroom's son, Matt McBroom.
Okay, and how many people are on the panel? How many women are on the panel?
14.
14. And over the years, you have raised a lot of money.
We have.
How much?
Over $7,200,000.
Oh, how does that make you feel when you realize that much money?
Very good and very passionate about what we do. It's so easy to raise money for children. If you can't raise money for them, they're our future.
Right.
And I think it's the easiest call I ever make is, would you like to double your pledge this year? And if they say, well, no, well, okay, how about 50%? It's an easy way to raise money, and I make personal calls.
Right, and it's still a passion of yours today.
Absolutely, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Yeah, and what goals do you have for the money you raise with Variety?
Well, we do so many things in Variety, 70, 80 charities we give to, but this year I have a new thought on what I'm going to ask our panel to do. It's our 50th year, and I am challenging our panel to at least each of them do, we'd like to raise 50 mobility pieces for children. Wow. That's just aside from the other money we raise. And I think we can do it. We've had several programs where we've given away bikes, standing equipment for children, all kinds of mobility equipment. And I am telling you, the donors love every minute. I had a client a few years ago whose husband was having a big birthday, and she said, I don't know what to do. And I said, have you ever thought about giving bikes? And she said, tell me about it. So Sherry presented her with 3 children that needed mobility equipment. And rather than doing one, she did all 3. And it was like a $10,000 gift. And it makes everybody so happy. The people are so thrilled that receive these specialized equipment. And the donors, I mean, what makes you feel better? You can have your grandchildren there, your children. Anyway, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
We are with, once again, Sherry McMichael, the Executive Director of Variety, the children's charity. And we are standing at a very cool location on what really has become a signature for Variety, the children's charity. Tell everybody where we are.
We are at the Variety Star Playground at Riverview Park, and this is our most recent inclusive playground that we've installed. And it has the look and feel of the old Riverview Amusement Park. So you'll see the wild mouse, you'll see the roller coaster. It's just very, very unique to the community, and it's something that we wanted to provide to the city of Des Moines.
Now, you mentioned inclusive playground, and you installed one of these years ago. Tell everybody where this all started.
So back in 2014, we installed our very first Variety Star Playground in memory and honor of Ashley Oakland. She was one of our Young Variety board members, and she was all about bringing kids together and giving all kids the opportunity to play. We quickly learned that there was not an inclusive playground.
Now explain what that is. Explain what an inclusive playground is.
So an inclusive playground is the rubber surfacing, it's the ramping, it's the sensory pieces, it's slides that have rollers instead of just the plastic so that it has sensory, for kids with sensory issues and so forth. But it's giving kids of all abilities the chance to play together and for all kids to experience a playground.
Yeah, we're even talking about the fact that they have a merry-go-round type, playground piece of equipment that wheelchairs can roll into. They can park the wheelchair right next to the seat, and everybody can participate in the merry-go-round.
Absolutely. So, you and I could get in there with a couple of kids in wheelchairs, and we just start turning it and going as fast as we can on that merry-go-round.
And then another thing that we recently learned is that not only is it great for the kids that might have some difficulties getting around, you found out that grandparents and other adults, they were really excited about it too.
Yeah, it was something that we hadn't thought about because we were just solely focused on the kids and making a playground for all kids of all abilities. And after opening the Ashley Oakland Star Playground at Ewing Park, we started getting phone calls and emails saying thank you for providing that inclusive playground, because I, as a parent or a grandparent, had never had the opportunity to take my child to a playground because of my own mobility issues. So
That's amazing, and it's for the whole community, isn't it?
yes, it's for the whole community. I'm happy to say that in addition to this playground and the Ashley Oakland Star Playground at Ewing Park, they're both considered destination playgrounds, so they're our busiest playgrounds in the city. In addition, we have one in Knoll Ridge Park in Cedar Rapids because we saw that there was a need. I'm happy to tell you that too is a destination playground and the busiest playground in Cedar Rapids.
How neat is that?
Yeah.
And those are the star playgrounds, but you've also had input on other playgrounds, helping them to adapt to making them all inclusive.
Absolutely. We get phone calls several times a year just asking us, hey, what can you tell us about adaptive or inclusive playgrounds? We've also, through our grant program, funded other inclusive playgrounds in other communities such as Winterset, Pella, Decatur County. So, we have 3 playgrounds that are solely funded by Variety, and we've branded those with the Variety Star Playground.
That's the Variety Star Playgrounds. Okay.
Exactly, and then we are breaking ground next spring on our 4th Variety Star Playground, and that will be at the Clive Greenbelt.
Oh, it's amazing. The playgrounds are unbelievable. If you have not been out to see them for yourself, you really need to do yourself a favor and do that. That's where the money is going, folks. It's helping projects like this get off the ground and give kids the opportunity to play like kids again.
Absolutely, and when kids are playing, it gives them the opportunity that just because somebody maybe doesn't walk the same way that they walk, or they are using a piece of equipment, play kind of gets rid of all of those maybe insecurities and why is that person a little bit different from me, and kids have the ability to play together.
So that's what this does. This gives kids the ability to play together.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. Use the QR code on the bottom of the screen and make a donation right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Dawn Carlson, founder and PATH certified therapeutic riding instructor here at Rhythms of Grace in Central Iowa. Congratulations to Variety for 50 years of miracles improving the lives of children. We're so happy to be a part of this organization's mission and be able to receive assistance to help children who need a little extra help. We work with kids who have special needs and disabilities, and Variety, the children's charity, has helped us to get special equipment for our horses so that our kids can ride, and also a special wooden horse that we'll be able to use year-round for physical therapy and therapeutic riding. So thank you, Variety, for everything that you do and all the wonderful volunteers in your organization.
Well, as you can see, corporate donations are the backbone of what Variety, the children's charity, does. And Ron Pearson, former CEO of Hy-Vee, the biggest contributor to Variety, the children's charity, joining us right now. Hello, Ron.
Hello, Variety.
Yeah, you are an amazing individual. You are there and have been there when Hy-Vee first got involved with the Telethon. Tell us how Hy-Vee first got involved with Variety, the children's charity telethon.
Well, you'll be surprised because corporate had nothing to do with the first involvement with the telethon. Some of the early pioneers of Variety contacted our local stores in Des Moines and asked them for a donation. They came up with hot dogs, mustard, buns, nothing very substantial. This was a new fundraiser, and as you can imagine, a public company, we always get asked for donations. So that's what they came up with. And that proceeded for probably a year or two before one of the kingpins with Variety, Stan Reynolds, contacted us in corporate and wanted us to get involved.
Wow. And yeah, one of the kingpins, like the biggest kingpin we know. But what an involvement. What memories, what fun memories do you have being involved with Variety, the Children's Charity Telethon?
Well, one of the things that started with a group of food industry people, and it was a joint group of all of our competitors in the Iowa market. So all of those people came to the Variety Telethon, sometimes all day, sometimes just towards the end, and we all came together and started giving donations. So that's really how it proceeded. That took place probably for maybe 8 or 10 years. I'm not exactly sure, but it was a place for the food industry as a whole to move into giving more money to Variety, and that's what we wanted to do.
All right. Ron, thank you so very much for your time. So great to see you again. And now it's time. Are you ready to find out what kind of impact Hy-Vee is going to have with Variety, the Children's Charity, this year? Are you ready for the reveal?
Yay.
Let's find out. We are at the Hy-Vee Ron Pearson Center with Randy Edeker. He's the chairman of the board of Hy-Vee, and Ryan Roberts, executive vice president of Hy-Vee. And they have been involved with Variety, the Children's Charity, for a long time. Remind everybody how long you've been involved with Variety and how much money has been raised.
Yeah, so we started with Variety over 40 years ago. Dwight Friedenberg was a very strong believer in Variety. Started years and years ago, and we've raised well over $20 million over our time with Variety.
Why is it so important to you to be part of Variety?
Well, I think it's important for Hy-Vee to be part of our communities. You know, a helpful smile in every aisle.
Right.
You know, making lives easier, healthier, and happier. It really fits our brand to give back to our communities, give back to our people, give back to the children, and all of the folks that Variety has helped over the years. It fits our brand perfectly.
All right, and raising money, that's the big goal here. How have you raised money for Variety?
You know, it's really a year-long effort. You know, all of our locations and all of our Hy-Vee employees really put a lot of effort into this, and most of it comes from our customers. You know, we just finished a Roundup campaign in the month of February, and the generosity of our customers really puts us in a position where we can do this.
Yeah, and put them in a position to do something incredible. You ready to do something incredible?
Absolutely.
All
Let's
right,
go.
ladies and gentlemen, the big reveal. Let's turn the check around and show everybody how much Hy-Vee is contributing to the cause. Take a look at this.
Yeah, $550,000 again this year. So
$550,000. How does that make you feel?
it's fantastic. Makes us feel great. It's all good.
This is awesome, folks. $550,000 as we celebrate 50 years of miracles with Variety, the Children's Charity. What an amazing story, Sherry.
It truly is an amazing story. And of course, we couldn't have done this without all of the support of our wonderful, wonderful donors, our volunteers, and the community. So a big thanks, and this is to our community, and this is truly a celebration.
Remember, you can continue to make donations. You see the codes and the links below. Click on those codes, make a donation, and help out Variety, the Children's Charity. It makes a world of difference.
It makes a world of difference. And, you know, again, those dollars stay right here in our community, and they're impacting the children in your backyard.
There you go. So, folks, we can't end a telethon without ending it the proper way. You ready to start singing?
Do you want me to start singing?
We're going to start singing. If you know the words, sing along. Thank you so very much for joining us for Variety, the Children's Charity Telethon Spotlight as we continue to shine a light toward the next 50 years of miracles.